the beat up. I like sound effects. I like sound effects. Now bring the beat back. Now bring the beat back.
University. Blue Lock won the away game as fans cheered them on and the boys celebrate their victory. In the locker rooms, the boys change and leave the locker room, heading outside to go to the bus that's waiting for them. Man, I'm beat, Rinsagi said with a sigh. I don't know. I wanna play some more, Chatie exclaimed, with Chatie agreeing with a nod. Honestly, that game was so easy. When are we gonna find us some real opponents? Jesus. How do you two still have this much energy? Rio questioned with exasperation. Honestly, Chatie agreed. I couldn't agree more. The game was such a hassle. Nagi replied as he yawned. You think everything's a hassle, idiot. Bara rolls his eyes and lets out an annoyed sigh. Who wouldn't? It was tiring. Nagi responds back as he slumps his shoulders. Playing video games would be more fun. Nagi yawns once again. Knowing these two, they might get into an argument, Rinsagi thought as he looked over at the two as they start arguing. Rin sighs as he puts his earphones in to block out their annoying banter. He listens to music as they make their way to the bus. Rinsagi pans over to C and Chatie. Chatie was all over C, pathetically attempting to flirt with him. Hey C, Chatie teased with a sly smirk. How about we go on a date? You know, he asked with an animated eyebrow waggle to lighten the mood. A date after a match? Calm down, devil boy. C responds back with an annoyed eye roll. Aw, come on. It'll be fun, Chatie says as he puts his arm around C's shoulder. Maybe not today. C sighed as he gently shoved his arm off his shoulder. So you agree to going on one with me, right? Chatie exclaimed happily as if there were sparkles in his eyes. I never said that, devil boy. C comments with a groan. The boys finally got to the bus and got on and settled down, putting their seat belts on and got comfortable. During the ride there was various conversations between the boys, and while the others spoke, the rest slept or did their own thing. Anything to pass the time on the way back to Blue Lock University. After a long ride back from the opponent university, some of them stopped what they were doing. Others woke up the ones who were asleep. The boys gather their belongings and get off the bus to start heading off to the dormitory. Some went their separate ways to the opposite dormitory while the ones kept going the same direction. They said their goodbyes and went in their shared dorms. Rin and Rinsagi walked to their shared dorm and unlocked the door. Once inside, Rin locked the door behind Rinsagi and then walked deeper into their separate rooms to put away their belongings. They both head to the bathroom to freshen up and soon they are ready for bed. Rinsagi, however, was feeling a bit peckish and walked over to the kitchen for a little snack before he calls it a day. After eating his snack, he throws away the trash and washes his hands. He then turns off the kitchen light and all the other lights before heading to his bedroom and closing the door. Rinsagi got in bed and got on his phone for a bit to see that he got almost 10 missed calls from his group chat with Chatie, Rio, Chatie, Chatie, Srry, and Yukimiya. They were all spamming Rinsagi to get online. Rinsagi sighed and gets online and joins the call. Hey Rinsagi. Chatie greeted happily. Hey Chatie. Rinsagi greets back. Why are you guys spamming me though? He questions. You know we have to watch movies every night before we go to bed, right? Chatie asked. Y'all were serious about that? Rinsagi asked. Well duh, Rio says in a slight sarcastic tone. Honestly I wanna go to bed, Chatie mutters. You only saying that so you can go cuddle with Kunigami, Rio says with a groan, rolling his eyes. And the fuck? You want to do the same with Nagi? Chatie spits back slightly annoyed. That's not true, Rio says, avoiding accountability. Chatie says, clearly not believing him. Okay, enough arguing. Let's watch the movie, Srry exclaimed. Right, Yukimiya agrees. Chatie puts on a movie by sharing his screen and they all watch it. Once it was over, they had side conversations about the movie and talked about their relationships. So Rinsagi, Chatie starts off. How does it feel being roommates with Rin? He asked, clearly wanting to know badly. It's alright I guess. He's a little less harsh than how he was back in Blue Lock, Rinsagi explained, recalling the times of how Rin used to be more harsh and would call him lukewarm. But he doesn't even do that anymore. Hear me out, but you two would make a really good couple. I was just about to say that. Chatie followed in. Yeah, Rinsagi, do you like him? What? No, why would I like him? Rinsagi quickly denied. You denied that so quick, Yukimiya says with a laugh. Right, so you must like him. Rinsagi starts to get flustered. His ears and cheeks, face, starts to get red. You blushing. I knew you liked him. Shidao says excitedly cause he was right. Aiza's finally getting a fine shit. Chijiri says with a sly smirk. It's not what you guys think. Isaji denies. Then what is it? Yukimiya asked. On Isaji's line. It got quiet because it's obvious that he didn't know what to say. See, Hayari says following up with a laugh. Fuck you guys. Isaji says before leaving the call. The others on call just laughed it off and continued their conversations. Isaji sighed. A blushing mess he was. He couldn't believe what just happened at all. Do I really like Rin? I mean there's just no way. He thought. There's no way me. Isaji Yoichi likes Rin Itoshi. Isaji denies the idea of it once again. Fuck maybe I do. He thought as he just accepts it. Isaji Yoichi really does like Rin Itoshi, but does Rin Itoshi feel the same way? That question popped up in his head knowing that Rin doesn't at all. And it practically gave him a sheer pain in the chest of the thought of Rin rejecting him. Isaji shifts to get under the covers, putting his phone on the charger and put it on the nightstand. He sighs as he clears his head so anything won't be on his mind before he goes to sleep. He turns the lamp off on the nightstand and then soon enough ends up falling asleep. Isaji wakes up from his alarm that was on his phone. He groaned as he turned it off and sets it back on the nightstand. As he stretches, he feels his muscles tighten up, then slowly relax when he was done with it. Isaji makes his bed and then makes his way to his closet. He gets some clothes out and lays it on his bed so he can take his morning shower. After showering for almost an hour, he gets out of the shower, dries off, puts a towel around his waist, and leaves the bathroom. He walks towards his bed and puts his clothes on. He goes back in the bathroom to blow dry his hair, brush his teeth, do his skincare, and leaves once he was done by turning the light off and closing the door. Then he grabs his backpack, phone, charger, and puts his shoes on. He leaves his room, closes the door, then makes his way to the kitchen to make himself some breakfast. He ate his food. Then, once he got done, he sat on the couch and got on his phone. There were a few missed calls from the GC he was just on the phone with last night. They were on call for some odd reason, but he just put his AirPods in and joined the call. Good morning, Guis. Isaji greeted with a smile as he turned on his camera. Morning, Gaisa. Bachira greeted back as his face lights up at Isaji. The others greeted him back with smiles and asked how he was doing, and he ends up asking them how they were doing. Why are you guys on call so early? Isaji asked with confusion spreading on his face. Honestly, I don't even know. I just joined. Hayari responds to Isaji's question as he chewed his food. Same. Chijiri agreed. What you eating? Shidao asked Hayari with curiosity. Pancakes and omelette, he says as he continues to eat his food. That sounds good as fuck, not gonna lie. Ryo says, showing signs of him walking into the living room of him and Nagi's shared dorm. It does. Bachira agrees. I had avocado toast with rice so it kind of filled me up. Isaji says as he hears a door open and he turns his head that way. It was Rin coming out of his room fully dressed. He had all his stuff and went to the kitchen to make himself breakfast and coffee. Oh, good morning. Isaji greets him. Morning. Rin greets back. The others look at him with cheeky smiles and some were trying not to laugh. Isaji turns his head back to his phone. He gets annoyed by them trying not to laugh. Shut the fuck up, you guys. PLSS. Shidao outbursts as he laughs. Isa, you really need to bag your fine shit. ASAP. No, for real. I swear I can't wait for them to get together. They teased Isaji to the point he was blushing. Who are you talking to? Isaji jumped at Rin's voice, not expecting him to say anything else to him. Our annoying teammates. Shidao and them? Rin asked as he sips his coffee. Yeah. HMPH. Rin muttered with a slight smile at the sight of Isaji getting all red, finding it cute, but then he snaps back to himself, wondering why he would think Isaji was cute. Anyways, I had cereal cause I wanted to do something simple, I guess. Yukimiya says, me too. But avocado toast and rice sounds really good. Shidao says, practically drooling. Isaji gets up off the couch and stretches. I'm gonna go meet at our spot and just wait for y'all. Isaji says with a slight groan. Me and Yuki are already here. Hayari says as he shows Yukimiya on the camera and he waves. You're leaving already? Rin asked as if it sounded like he wanted Isaji to stay longer. Yeah, but I'll see you in class, Rin. Okay then. See you in class. Isaji walks to the front door, unlocks it, opens it, walks out of the door, and closes the door behind him. Baby, he yearning for you. Literally. Rin sounds like he wanted you to stay longer. You could hear it in his voice that he wanted you to stay longer. I'm pretty sure it's not like that. The boys talked some more before ending the call because they were walking up to their meetup spot. Once everyone was there, They began walking around campus to go inside so they could get to their classes. The boys made it to their class. They walk in and go to where they usually sit. Isagi sat at the table to which he shares with Rin. He got stuff out and got on his phone for a bit and then talked with his friends. Isagi finished talking with them, turned around, and just waited for both Rin and the professor to come in. Rin finally arrived to class, sat beside Isagi, and took all his stuff out for today's class. There was an awkward moment of silence between the two for a good minute. The both of them ended up talking to each other to break that god-awful silence between them. Rin, could I have the notes from the day before? I kinda took a nap while she was teaching. Sure, you should have stayed up longer to get the notes. Aw, come on. Don't start nagging me off the bat. I was really tired that day because of practice and class. Isagi explained as he slightly pouted hearing Rin nag at him. You're simply too weak if you're that tired easily. And for the record, I'm not nagging you, Rin says as he rolled his eyes. Hey, I'm not weak. It's not my fault classes were super draining that day. And for the record, you are nagging me, Isagi says as he slumps his shoulders slightly. Exactly. You're too weak, Rin says as he crosses his arms. That's what you think. It's not what I think. It's what I know. Rin turns his head to look at Isagi with a small smile. Isagi, being caught off guard, got flustered because of the sight of Rin smiling and looking at him a certain way that he couldn't explain. He felt his heartbeat slightly get fast. That feeling he usually feels around Rin when they're near each other, looking at each other, and having conversations with each other. Sometimes he hates that feeling he gets around Rin, but now he started to accept those feelings he has for Rin. Don't look at me like that, he says as he covers his ears to hide the fact that they were getting red. Like what? He asked as he kept his smile while looking at him in that certain way that Isagi described. I don't know. Jay, just stop. Isagi wanted to jump off a building but he couldn't because that would mean he wouldn't be able to see Rin or his friends anymore, but especially Rin. Well, if you want me to stop so bad then I will. He kept his smile, clearly enjoying teasing Isagi before looking away. Rin passes his notebook to Isagi to let him copy the notes. Isagi gets his pencil and starts jotting down the notes. Shidao, Ryo, Bachira, Chijiri, Yukimiya, and Hayari were looking at them while conversating, catching on to them flirting. The professor arrived and everyone quieted down. She started her lesson and everyone paid attention to her in the lesson. After an hour or almost two, class had finally ended and everyone gathered their things and left class. Rin and Isagi walked to their next class together. Rin would take small glances at the shorter boy, and for some reason there was this warm fluttery feeling deep inside his chest, and so he got lost in his thoughts. As much as him and Isagi been around each other practically since they were in Blue Lock, during high school, Rin never thought of Isagi more than an enemy, hell even a friend. But it's like whenever he gets around Isagi, somewhere deep inside, he gets that warm fluttery feeling and he finds it annoying and weird. He hates to admit it but there's a possibility. No, he actually does like Isagi. Rin, the shorter boy, perhaps grew on him to where he likes him. He'd hate to have to vent to his Karasu, Atoya, and his brother C, but it seems like that might be his only option. Rin snapped out of his train of thought and looked at Isagi with confusion playing over his face. Huh? He asked. I've been calling you for about 3 times. Are you okay? Isagi asked with slight concern despite it spreading over his face. Yeah, just got lost in thought I suppose, Rin says with a sigh. If you say so. Don't worry too much. I really am fine. You better not be lying. I'm not. They made it to their second class of the day. They didn't really do much in class. Just took a quiz and everyone did whatever they wanted till class ended. Rin and Isagi just talked about what they could do later on at their dorm. Isagi. Rin turns his head to look at him. Isagi responds as he looks up from his phone and at him. What do you want to do later on when we get home? He asked. Isagi puts his arm on the table, propped his arm up, and put his head on his hand as if he were thinking. Of course Rin thought it was cute, which he started staring at him unintentionally with a small smile. We could cook something together and watch a movie together, Isagi says with a smile after giving it some thought. Okay, but what movie do you want to watch? He asked as he watches Isagi give it another thought. It's a kid's movie though. Isagi looked away then back at him as if he was kinda embarrassed. So, I mean as long as we're watching it together, I don't see the problem. Let that sink in. Isagi's face then heats up because in a way that makes it sound like they're something more whatever they are. Rin got flustered after realizing what he said. Fuck, I didn't mean it like that. No, it's fine. I know what you meant. It just caught me off guard. There was a moment of silence. So what movie did you want to watch? Dog Man? Okay, we can watch it. Isaji nods with a smile. Classes flew by so Rin and Isaji had time to go to the grocery store, picked up a few items to make rice and curry, along with some snacks to watch with the movie. They made it to their dorm, went inside, went in their room to shower, change, and come back by going in the kitchen. The two boys started preparing and started cooking, and when they were done, they sat at the table and ate. Then, they made it to the couch and Rin put it on Netflix to put the movie on. As the movie started, Isaji scooted over next to Rin and looked at him. Rin returns the look, making Isaji look away flustered, and that made him chuckle. Halfway into the movie, Isaji starts to get sleepy and almost fell asleep. Rin took notice of that and thought it was cute. Isaji ends up laying his head down on Rin's shoulder, which was a mistake. Isaji was about to lift his head up, but Rin told him not to. Don't. Just sleep. Okay. Isaji ends up falling asleep soon enough as the movie played on. Rin continues to watch it, but he grabbed the blanket that was on the couch and put it over the both of them. Rin felt his heart getting warm. That feeling that was deep inside now uplifted to the surface. His face started to heat up, now realizing how close they were. Rin lays his head on Isaji's and continues to watch the movie. Maybe, just maybe, he's finally coming to terms with those feelings that he thought about earlier. Rin Itoshi really does like Isaji Yoichi, but does Isaji Yoichi feel the same? To be continued.